Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to another How to Play tutorial. And this one's going to be a bit tricky. I'm going to attempt to teach you how to play Colin Hayes' Waiting for My Real Life to Begin. I'm maybe going to teach it in a little bit of a different way. Yeah, we'll get into that now when we start. Let's get into the tuning first. So the tuning, standard tuning, EAD, GBE. And from memory, the song is recorded on a capo on the 4th fret. So this is, if the capo's on, that's tuning. This song is kind of split, really, into two parts. The first 80% of the song is, I'm going to call the first half, even though it's not half, it probably makes up like 80% of the song. And then there's the outro section, which makes up like the last 20% of the song. The first part of the song, which is, the main bulk of the song, is, I think it's 5 chords. And I'm going to put those chords on the screen. I can't remember some of the names, and I'm not going to sit here and pause and We've got this C shape. We've got two types of G. The opening G is that. We've got a D, standard D major. We've got an alternative G, which is that, which then hammers onto this. We've got this A shape. And then we've got this B shape. And that's it. That's the bulk of this song, is those kind of six chord shapes. 5, but 2 different variations of G. So we've got a C, G, a D, that A, and that B. So let's work on the intro. The most important thing, and I think this is where people might be afraid of this song. Not afraid, but this song isn't about the strumming. The strumming doesn't, and this is where tablature can throw you off, especially if you're new or you're at a position where you're okay. But I think people tend to see tablature as gospel, as this is how it's supposed to be played. So they will focus on the wrong things. And God bless Ultimate Guitar. It's an I wish Ultimate Guitar existed 35 years ago when I was learning how to play guitar, instead of me sitting there with a tape machine, fast rewinding, playing, rewinding, and only having my ears to actually learn. I wish it existed, but as much as Ultimate Guitar is probably one of the best resources on the net, some of the tab on there is fucking dreadful, awful, and like 20 different versions of the same song. It sometimes, especially for people new to guitar, beginners, people who are on their journey and just starting, and especially if you're just relying on the tab, you don't know what to you just read the tab as, well, this is how it's supposed to be played. And if it says to strum all these exact strings, that's what you focus on, and you think, I've got this. If I don't strum this exact number of strings, I'm playing it wrong. That's not the way to learn, especially this song. this song is not about... You use the tab as a guide. Take the tab on Ultimate Guitar, the official... I think there's an official one of this song on Ultimate Guitar. Grab that, but you're only going to use that as a reference. You're not going to focus on that. You're going to focus on the things I'm going to show you in here and the chord shapes and the things I'm going to teach you. So, what makes this song? Let's focus first on how it's played. I believe Colin plays this hybrid. So he plays with a pick and then he uses his fingers. I can't play like that. I've tried, I just find it so unnatural that I simply can't. So I don't. You could play this with a plectrum. Or, and the way I'm gonna articulate this, tutorial is I play it with my fingers. I've got nails on my fingers, which makes it a little bit more plectrum-like. But let's play the intro. Let's work through the intro, and then I'll start sort of showing you what's important to focus on in this song. So the song starts out 2 little mutes on the G. The thing to focus on in this song is the picked bits. That. You will find that is a running kind of motif through the entire song. It's those picked bits that define how this song sounds correct to someone listening to it. Never mind someone who doesn't play an instrument, someone who's just a fan of the music. Getting those picked bits. That's what makes this song sound right, sounds correct in your mind. It's not how many strings you're strumming according to the tab, wherever you get your tab from. It doesn't matter whether you strum all of them, the bottom 3, the top 3. That's not going to make this sound, this not going to make this song sound like it's played well. It's the picked bits. It's that hybridization of the strumming and the picking at the same time. That's what makes this song sound right. And that's what I want you to focus on, is that. And I think most of those picked bits is those top 2 strings, regardless of it's those top 2 strings. And there's a kind of a similar kind of feel that kind of feeling to it. That's what I want you to focus on. So let's work through the chord. Let's just work through that intro one last time. So you've got those 2 little mutes, G, there's a little choke on that C. There's those pick bits. That's the other crucial bit. It's getting that right. So it's that C shape. So you got 3, open, open, 3. And then you've got 2. You don't play the A string. You mute that with your first finger. And then you've got open. So you got 2, skip, open, 2, open. And then into that G. Those are the, if there's 2 motifs you want to take away from this lesson, it's the, and then that's this entire song in a nutshell. If I could break down the 2 most important things about this song, it's those. So that's the intro. Now we'll move into the verse. The verse, similar type of chord shapes. We start with the C, and the verse is kind of that C is a little more open in the way you strum it. There's no choke. The choke isn't in there on the verse, so it's a little more open. So it's, you're gonna hammer on the D string. You're gonna hammer on to the 2nd fret. So it's to the D, to the G. So we're then going from the G to that A, to the B, and then back to the C. Hey, future self, editing this video here. I'm still in the throes of COVID, so you'll have to excuse my attire and demeanour, but yeah, it's not been a great week health-wise. But I've just realised editing this video that the verse explanation wasn't thorough enough, and I missed a portion of the chord sequence out. So I'm gonna do that now. The chord sequence is split in 2, and if I play the vocal, or if I sort of word the vocal, sing the vocal, or quietly sing the vocal, you'll see the chord sequence. So the verse kind of goes any minute now, worship is coming in. Checking the horizon, I stand on the bow, feel the waves come crashing down, then you go into the pre-chorus, and that's it. Hopefully that's clarified up the little mishap with the verse there. Back to the video. And then we're going to move into like the pre-chorus, I guess you would call it. And I'll just do the vocal a little bit so you know where we are. Be still, my love, Open up your heart, let the light shine in. Don't you understand? I already have a plan, waiting for my real life to begin. Back into the intro. So it's C, G, but a full G this time with your 2 fingers down on the 3rd fret. So C, D, C, D, G, and that's where you've got that. The G, I don't know how Colin plays it, because I've played this song so many times now. There's just sort of how I play it, and it's up to you really how you want to play it. You can either play the G like that, or you can play it in the normal traditional kind of G. So when you do that climb up from G, A, B back to the C, sometimes I swap and I don't even think about it. That's the pre-chorus and the sort of verse, because that, I mean, it's not really a verse, it's just I'm waiting for my real life. I'm waiting for my real life to begin. So that's 80% of the song. So what I'm going to do, I'll play the intro, I'll put the chord shapes up here. What you're trying not to do is to play this exactly the same as me, or even if you're listening to the album version, the original version. It's not about trying to play the exact same number of strings when there's a strum. Pick out the bits that stand out. Pick out those picked bits. Those are the little parts of the song you want to hit, because that's the parts of the song that's going to make it sound like the song. So when I play this, the goal isn't to copy it this exactly. The goal is not to copy in this song. The goal is to emulate and pick out the bits that are important. So I'll play through the intro now. Actually, I'll play intro, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, and I'll half sing so that everybody knows where we are, so that you get the structure. I'll put the chords up on the screen as we're playing through it, so you can see the chord shapes you need to play. And just pay attention to the bits that stand out, those picked bits that stand out, that define the song. And then we'll move into that last 20% of the song, which is a complete change. So let's, and I'll play it slowly as well, so that you get to hear the structure and the interlinking of the picked and the strummed. Any minute now, understand. I already have a plan. I'm waiting for my real life to begin. When I woke today, into the second verse. So hopefully there I've played it slow enough and clear enough that you can see what's important, and it's that those picked, it's the way that you pick out those notes. It's not how many strings you're strumming, that's not important in this song. Getting the chords right is, but it's those picked bits that become the sort of motif through the song and underneath the singing. So then when we come out of that last, I'm waiting for my real life to begin, now we transition into the last part of the song, and that starts with a climb down, root note climb down from G, F sharp, E. So we're going a climb down, 3, 2, open. And what we're going to do, we're going to break this second half of the song, we're going to break it down into two parts. The first part and then the second part. So the first part, after that climb down, all the chords except the D shape, all the chords, you're going to hold your pinky finger down on the 3rd fret of the high E string. And we're going to go round 3 times. E minor, A minor, E minor, A minor 7, 3 times. So back to C, A minor, 7, back to E minor. That's the first half of the outro portion of the song. So with the singing, so you kind of know where you are with that, it's waiting for my real life to begin. Yeah. That's that portion. Transition then into the final stage of the outro, and we're gonna, it's a bit of a more of an aggressive C, and there's a small little climb down for C, B, A, G. So 3, 2, open, 3 to the G. So it's there's a transitionary root note on the B, 5th string, on the A string, 2nd fret, the B note, or is it B in relation to the capo? Transitions you from the G to the D. Transitionary note again on that 2nd fret to take us to the C. So we'll just play through that bit again. that C is now, rather than in the first block of the song, it was that with the open E string underneath or on top of it. It's now a more traditional kind of C add 9, kind of traditional sort of campfire chord. And this is where the picked bit becomes really important. That's really important. You have to hit that. So let's run through that again. G, climb up, open, B, C, open 1, open 2, 3. So that see a very long way is fifth string, the A string, 3, 2, open. So it's, yeah, 3, 2, open onto the E string, 3, 2, 3. See a very long way. And again on that G chord, picking out those is crucial. So let's just run through that again now, and I'll add in the singing so we all know where we are. On a clear day, I can see a very long way. On a clear day, I can see a very long way. And that's the end of the song. So it's crucial in that last movement to, on the C and the G, to be picking out those top 2 notes. On a clear day, I can see a very long way. On a clear day, I can see a very long way. Yeah. And that's it. So what we'll do, I'm just going to play through the entire outro of the song with the chords, shapes, so you know where everything fits in. And I'll take it from the very last, Waiting for My Real Life to Begin. And I'll play it a slower, obviously. So, I'm waiting for my real life to begin. Yeah. a clear day, I can see a very long way. On a clear day, I can see a very long way. Yeah, yeah. And that's it. Hopefully, lessons learned from this, hopefully, is what to focus on. And what to focus on is not how many strings you've got to strum. Focus on the shapes. But the key component to me, to this song, is those picked bits. If you don't get those picked bits right, it's not the song. That's the key to getting this song to sound right. I hope you found that useful. Hopefully I've added something to the discussion around learning this song. I love this song. As a Scrubs fan, this song means the world to me. I absolutely adore this song. So hopefully, if you've ever been a bit too afraid to tackle this song, maybe you're just not that far in your guitar journey, hopefully this has allowed you to maybe see the song in a bit of a different light in terms of how you would actually approach it and learn it, and what's actually important to make it sound like the song. It's those pick bits, man. That's it. Pick those bits out. Hopefully you've found this useful. Please let me know if you have in the comments. If you like what I do, you know, click the things and the buttons and do the necessary. This channel exists for my original material. So if you like the acoustic stuff, you like the singer-songwritery stuff, you love the Scrubs music, check out my stuff. It might be right up your street, and you might discover some new music that you'll fall in love with. Everything's in the description. Check out my Bandcamp. The debut album is there on digital and physical CD. You would be a massive help to support me in that way directly. By all means, listen to it on Spotify afterwards if you've got Spotify, and subscribe and follow me on Spotify, because that helps tremendously as well. But yeah, check it out. You might just discover some new music you like, especially if you like the acoustic stuff anyway. But thanks. Hope you found this helpful and informative. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.